Hello everyone, in this session we will be discussing about some special entries and we will solve two practical questions. Now first let us see some special entries. In our previous session we had discussed about bad debts when one of our party become insolvent and we cannot recover money that we owe to him. At that time it is known as bad debts, but in some cases what happens is that after declaring bad debts, some of the customers or some of our debtors, they used to pay us. Okay, in that case what will happen is that we will pass one journal entry, and that journal entry will be cash account debit because we will be receiving cash from the person, but we will credit bad debts recovered account because earlier when we thought that the amount was bad debts, we credited the debtors account, but this time when we are receiving that bad debts amount, we will credit bad debts recovered account. Now care should be taken that the personal account of the debtor should not be credited because the debtor's account must have been credited while passing the entry for bad debts. Then next topic is outstanding expenses. Now outstanding expenses is nothing but which we were supposed to pay, but at the end of the year we haven't paid yet. Now let us see one example. If an employee is paid salary at rupees 1000 per month, and if during the year only 11 months salary amounting to rupees 11,000 has been paid to him, that means 1000 for 1 month was outstanding, we haven't paid him yet. So for that, journal entry will be salary account debit to outstanding salary account. Now this you have to remember how you are supposed to pass journal entry for each case. Then basically outstanding salary or anything that is outstanding, you have to pass similar journal entry. Suppose if it was outstanding wages, then the entry will be wages account debited to outstanding wages account. Now outstanding salary account, it is our liability. It has been credited because it is a representative personal account. Remember we learned that if in nominal account some prefix or suffix is added, then it will become representative personal account. Now in this case outstanding has been added to this salary account, so it became representative personal account, and it represents the employees to whom salaries are supposed to be paid. Okay, then next is prepaid expenses, means we have paid in advance. Okay, now while making that payment in advance, what we will pass one journal entry is that in here one example is given that insurance premium amounting to 1200 is paid on July 1st 2019 for one whole year. That means from 1st July 2019 till 1st July 2020 was paid, and we know that financial year ends on 31st March of every year. So that means after 31st March 2020, April, May, June, 3 months were extra. Okay, so we paid insurance premium for 3 months in advance. So while making that payment, what journal entry will do is that we have paid insurance premium as it is one of our expenses. So according to nominal accounts rule, debit all expenses and we will credit cash account because cash is going out from our business. Okay, now that time while paying the insurance premium we will pass this entry, but while at the end of the financial year, that is on 31st March 2020, we will pass one journal entry, prepaid insurance account to insurance premium account. Okay, premium insurance account is an asset. It has been debited because it is representative personal account, because prepaid suffix is added to insurance accounts, and that is why it is debited. And it represents those person to whom payment has been made in advance because they are the person who received the amount in advance, and that is why their prepaid insurance account was debited. Then next is depreciation. Depreciation is nothing but, so if in our business we are using some fixed assets, then every year we will deduct some amount of money from the value of our fixed asset because we think that the value of our asset decreases on account of wear and tear and passage of time, because every year we use those fixed assets, and due to this continuous use their value decreases. Now depreciation is a nominal account, and that is why it is debited every time. Okay, and we will credit the asset on which we are going to charge depreciation. The next is interest on capital. As the proprietor, he lends capital to the business, so he will get interest on his amount. So if we see from the business point of view, that interest on capital that the business is going to give to the proprietor is nothing but expense for the business, and that is why we will consider it as a nominal account, and interest, it will be debited in the journal entry. Now opposite to interest on capital is interest on drawings. Like when proprietor withdraws some money or something from the business, then business, they charge interest on that particular amount, and that particular amount is going to be paid by the proprietor. So it is kind of an income for the business, and that is why it is credited. Now the last topic that we are going to cover today is expenditure on the installation of machinery and on the erection of building. Means whenever we spend money on installing a machinery or erecting a building or demolishing a building, what we are going to do with those kind of expenditure. Now machinery and building are the assets of business. As such, any expenditure incurred on the carriage, that means bringing machinery from shop till the place of your business, and installation of machinery such as freight, transit expenses, installation expenses, wages paid for the installation, etc. These are treated as capital expenditure, and it is debited to machinery account. Means we will all together combine those amount and we will write it all together. Okay. Similarly, if any expenditure incurred for the construction of a building, such as the purchase of materials and the payment of wages, are also treated as capital expenditure, and as such debited to the building account. However, repair charges incurred on the asset which is already appearing in the books, means we are repairing any machinery or any asset that already appears in our balance sheet. At that time we will do is that we will debit repairs account. This you will understand clearly with the help of a particular practical question. Okay, now let us see one practical question. Now the question that I have chosen today is question number 15, and then we will see another question, that is practical question number 16. Now let us see the question first. Pass journal entries for the following transaction. Provide depreciation on furniture ₹500 and on machinery ₹2000. That means we have to charge depreciation separately on furniture for 500 and on machinery for 2000. Now let us see the solution. Here, since depreciation is common, as we are going to charge on both the assets, so we will combine those two depreciation and we will pass one journal entry. So depreciation is an expense, so we will debit depreciation account, and first we have to charge depreciation for furniture and then for machinery. Okay, so for furniture we charged 500 and for machinery 2000. So altogether we will write depreciation account on debit side 2500. Then next transaction is received cash 1000 for bad debts written off last year. That means earlier we thought that this 1000 was our bad debt and we passed a journal entry regarding that, but now this year we have received that 1000. So what we will do is that we will pass journal entry. Since we are receiving cash, so we will debit cash account and we will credit bad debts recover account with ₹1000 on both the sides. Then next is Ajay Singh was declared bankrupt, means he was insolvent. He owed us 2500. He was supposed to pay us 2500, but we cannot recover from him now. So what we have to do is that we have to pass journal entry for bad debts. So we will debit bad debts account because it is loss for us, and we will credit Ajay Singh because he is the one who became insolvent. So the journal entry will be bad debts account debit to Ajay Singh with ₹2500 on both the sides. Then next is 20,000 for wages and 4,000 for salaries are outstanding. Now when we discussed about outstanding, what we saw that we have to pass journal entry. So in this case both of them, they are salary and wages, so we will pass separate journal entry. Okay, now first we will see about wages. So we will write wages account debit to outstanding wages. Remember, whatever expenses that is outstanding will be credited and whatever advance will be debited. Now since this is outstanding, so we will just credit outstanding wages account with rupees 20,000, and again salaries account debit to outstanding salaries account with rupees 4,000. Now these are something that you have to remember, or you can by heart this kind of transactions. Then next is purchase furniture for 6,000 for proprietor. Now remember, this purchases was done for proprietor himself. That means it is a drawing. It is a drawing and he paid the amount by check. So what we will do is that we will debit drawings account, and since he made the payment by check, that means amount will be deducted from our bank account. So we will credit bank account because the bank will be the giver of the money. Okay, remember they said that he purchased that furniture for his own use, for proprietor. If it was for business, then we would have written here furniture account debit to bank account, but since it is for his personal use, we wrote drawings account. Then next is provide 9% interest on capital amounting to rupees 2 lakh. That means a proprietor, he has invested 2 lakh of capital into the business, and on this 2 lakh he will get interest of at the rate of 9%. So we will pass journal entry. Since interest on capital is an expense for business, so we will debit interest on capital account to capital account. So 9% of 2 lakh is 18,000. Then next last transaction is charge interest on drawings. Now interest on drawings is income for the business, so we will credit interest on drawings account, and since it is charged on drawings, so we will debit drawings account. So with 1,000 on both the sides, total we got 55,000. Now next question that we are going to see is question number 16. Now in this question, first transaction took place on January 5th, and the transaction is purchase goods for cash rupees 10,000 and spent 200 for their carriage. Means to brought that goods from the shop, they have spent 200 of carriage. Now this 200 we have to write separately for goods. Okay, so this is the journal transaction. We purchase goods, so we will write purchases account. Since we pay 200 for carriage, we will write carriage inverse account. It is an expense, so carriage inverse is nothing but when we purchase goods, we are bringing the goods inside our business, so it will be carriage inverse 200, and altogether we paid cash, so amount will be 10,200. Then next is purchase machinery for cash rupees 50,000 and spent 500 for its carriage. Now this time the machinery, it is an asset, so this 500 paid for carriage will be considered as capital expenditure, and we will add to 50,000. So the journal entry will be machinery came inside the business and cash went out from the business, so 50,500 we will write all together. Remember, in first transaction we purchase goods, it is an current asset. Okay, then machinery, it is a fixed capital, fixed asset, so that's why we added 500 with this 50,000. The next is paid 20,000 for cement, 10,000 for timber, and 5,000 as wages for the construction of the building. Now all this expenditure was made for constructing one of our fixed asset, that is building. So we will add all this together and we will debit building account because we made those expenses on account of constructing building. Then we will credit cash account because cash is going out from the business, so altogether 20 plus 10 30 plus 5 35,000. Then next is purchased an old machinery for 20,000 and spent 2,500 on its immediate repairs. Means we purchase an old machinery. Remember, old machinery is second-hand machinery, but it will be still new for our business. So what we will do is that we will add this 2,500 with this 20,000. So We wrote machinery account debit because machine came inside the business, and we paid cash, so we will credit cash account. So altogether 22,500. Then next last is paid 500 for repairing some other machinery. Other machinery means some machinery that we already had in our business, and for repairing that we have paid rupees 500. So the entry will be repairs account, since repair account is a nominal account and debit all expenses. So we will debit repairs account, and we paid cash, so it will be 500 credit 500. So altogether we got 1,18,700. Now I hope you understood this question, and if the video is too quick, then you try to pause in between to understand, to grasp the meaning of the transaction as well as this journal entries. Okay, now for this session we will wind up here. Thank you.